Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're happening to watch this. I'm going to give you a quick overview of PowerPoint. Most of you, this is super simple. At least we're ending our semester on a really easy note. But I thought instead of doing three individual movies, I'd give you a quick overview and then you can get rolling. When you open up PowerPoint, of course, PowerPoint's designed to do slides and presentations. And here we are looking at a slide. There's even some great design ideas. Boy, that looks beautiful. I think I'd rather be there, guys. And we could go to File and New, and there are tons of themed templates over here, or you can even search for one. So let's say I miss basketball. I could find a background on basketball. And when I open it up, I could have this as my layout. Let me show you more in a second. So let's say in PowerPoint, I select, I'm going to need some coffee, some earthly inspiration. So I add this template to my layout and I can add slides, for example, good morning. And we can fill in these, what we call placeholders, by the way. So that'll help you with terminology. Now, we also want you to be aware here that if I add new slides, I have different layouts, and these layouts have to do with the theme that you pick. So if I would have picked an entirely different template, these would have looked different. So interesting to see there. And when I want to see my slideshow all finished, I can call up here slideshow from beginning, and it gives me that full slide that I'd actually present. But I want to show you something unique. Down here at the bottom, there are three little dots. And these three little dots, when I click on them, say something called Show Presenter View. This is kind of new in PowerPoint. It shows me my present slide right here, but everybody look over here on the right, it shows me the next slide. So now I can have a nice segue into that slide and introduce it. I could also hide some notes back here. In fact, if I were looking at this on my computer, and imagine a computer screen up on a stage or in a big boardroom, then they would see the full slide. But you would see this area to see your notes, your lead-ins, and you have things like a laser pointer if you want it. Check that out. How cool. You also have a pen if you want to do some drawing here. Well, I'm not too artistic, sorry. And even a highlighter. We can look at all of your slides. Now, don't forget, the audience would only be seeing that first big slide, but if you needed to move around your slides and answer different questions with different slide responses, way to go. And you can magnify in and out right here. And you could hide the slide, for example, like during break time, and then bring it back again. And you even have the capabilities at the bottom here of having subtitles. And this would help you with different languages. How cool is that? Or just in English for those folks who are possibly hearing impaired. So you can move your slides down here in the arrow. It tells you how many minutes you've presented. So for example, in your speech class, if you have a 5-minute timer, and you can even show the taskbar at the bottom, look something up, and your audience wouldn't even know that you've left your slide and continued on with your presentation. Pretty neat, eh? So let me end that slideshow. So I think you're not going to have much trouble doing PowerPoint from here on out. These are called your little slide thumbnails over here and your full slide. And you can even add transitions, which there's like some cool movement to it as you go. Let me show you a few of my favorite new items that are allowed in PowerPoint that you'll see in the next 3 modules. One is actually called Smart Art. Under the Insert tab, I can come right here to Smart Art. It's in the Illustrations group. And there are all these different layouts. Instead of just having a boring bulleted list that you have in Module 1, then you can kind of spice it up in Module 2 and Module 3. For example, I can have different layouts like these, matrices, pyramids, pictures, just really kind of take your slides up to a unique level. And in business, you always want to make it look uber professional and not so boring. So now I can put anything in there. There is a text box that can pop up by clicking this left arrow. So if I were talking about day 1 at an event, and down here day 2, and if I don't have a day 3, I could actually just delete these and it gets rid of that extra piece. And I can add the text that we're going to have registration and so forth in here and just fill it in as we go. And up here, there's all these really cool colors and even some like 3D effects. And that really, again, just bring the presentation up to a crazy cool level. Now that we have our presentation somewhat put together, I want some transitions. In other words, instead of my slides just going from one to the next, I want a little excitement in between. And there are all kinds of really exciting ones. For example, maybe I want to start with these curtains. How nifty is that? And maybe on the second one, I want to change it up a little bit. I'm going to use Vortex. Look what Vortex does to my coffee. Oh my goodness, kind of crazy. And on my third one, let me change up the transitions. I'll do something called a page curl. So now when I go to slideshow from beginning, it really, when I change from one slide to the next, it keeps my presentation a little more interesting as we go along there. We also can insert audio and video into our slides. So maybe on slide 2, I'm going to add some video. I could do online video or video that's on my PC. If I go to video on my PC, I can grab one of the videos that I have in here. So let's say I grab a video about 3D printing, and now I can put that video into my presentation that can play
We're in
down
an
here.
exciting time for spaceflight innovation.
But what I really like is I can come over here to the playback tab of the video, and there's something called trim video. It allows me to cut off like the beginning and the end and maybe just show a shorter segment. So now my video picks up at
On a
that
mission
spot
to completely 3D print a rocket.
and continue from there. So I think you'll really enjoy PowerPoint. One of your first assignments is to make a PowerPoint about you. Looking forward to seeing that. And maybe you could put some pictures from your world. Guys, have a great time. Let me just mention exams. So our exam, you can take it in 4 different parts, and Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint, and take them at 4 different times. They're not timed at all because they're in SAM MindTap, but you only get to turn them in 1 time and not correct because I want to see what you do know. Not what it tells you to fix. So sorry about that, guys. Exams do count 20% of your average. So just let me know if you have any questions ahead of time about that. And I look forward to you guys finishing the semester strong. Take care, and it's been my honor to be your instructor even in this crazy semester. Thanks, guys.